Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Nick, say something, please.
Hi.
Okay, we're going to begin in a second when I get the all clear. Okay.
Okay.
Don't get started when I turn the webcam on.
Hi everyone. This is Nick Breukeman from UKTI in the Netherlands. I'm really happy that you're all there and that you're all attending and listening. Of course, Paul and Simon, many thanks for having me. I'm going to share my screen now because I have a PowerPoint presentation prepared, so you won't see me again, probably. Here it goes. So, I'm Nick Breukeman. I'm a trade advisor for UKTI in the Netherlands.
We just got the technical hurdle to get through. We haven't seen your present. This is Paul Forrest.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen your presentation yet.
Okay, 1 second.
Excellent.
Okay, this is it, right?
Yes.
Full screen.
Okay, great.
Put tap on full screen.
1 second. This is full screen, right? Or not?
Not quite.
Cancel it off, put it back on.
It should be.
With the presentation button.
Doesn't it give full screen?
No, if you want to just go through it by going through your slides with the arrow keys.
But if I click to the next one, do you see it?
No, the actual PowerPoint presentation itself isn't showing this side. We're seeing PowerPoint. The program.
Okay.
So if you want to just click through it with the slides manually on the list.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll do it like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Nick Breukeman. I'm a trade advisor for UKTI in the Netherlands. We're actually based in The Hague. We also have a building in Amsterdam, which is actually the consulate. But the main embassy is based in The Hague. This will be the methodology. First, I will talk a bit about UKTINL. So, as I said, it's based in The Hague. Then something about the Netherlands, the economy, short overview. Also about the UK and the Netherlands, which is more about diplomatic relations and also the economic relations that are very strong. Some sector opportunities for which we are focusing on in the Netherlands at the moment. Also how to work with the Dutch, and in the end there's some time for some questions. As you can see in the middle there, this is our lovely embassy in The Hague. We are here based with 4 trade advisors, as you can see. Basically the trade advisors, what we do is we help and assist British companies who want to export to the Netherlands or start exporting or have any questions about the market. And our investment advisors, they help Dutch companies to invest in the UK. So they basically do it the other way around. So a bit about the Netherlands. Actually, the Netherlands is a relatively small market. It's a sophisticated market, and it's probably one of the most competitive markets in the world. And actually, our GDP is not that much, but as you compare it to the relative size of our country, which is only 40,000 square kilometers, it's quite a lot because it's about 750 billion on an annual basis. And actually, 3 weeks ago, we hit the 17 million, so that was quite an achievement. And actually, one of the most important remarks is that 87%, which is quite a lot, of the population speaks English, and business English is one of the is very widely used within companies and organizations. So that's a really important and really good thing, because that makes it quite easy to come to the Netherlands or to actually start exporting to the Netherlands. So the Netherlands, it's a place to do business. As you can see, it's the place where the world meets to do business. We like to refer to it as a logistics gateway to Europe. For example, we have the Port of Rotterdam, which is one of the most important places in the Netherlands. There are such a lot of goods coming in every day, and therefore we refer to it as the logistics gateway to Europe, because it's not only supplying the Netherlands, but it's actually supplying also Germany, Belgium, Denmark, name it. So it's a really strategic place, and therefore the logistics gateway to Europe. And yes, the Netherlands is geographically and culturally close to the UK. We have lots of similarities. It's a transparent and open market, and it's also an ideal test market. And we know that the Netherlands is one of the most competitive markets in the world, but this actually makes it also an ideal test market, which doesn't sound logical in that sense, but the fact is that everyone wants to have a piece of the pie. So, for example, Germany, Belgium, France, Italy, etc. And that means that if your product works in this market, in the Netherlands, probably other markets that are close to the Netherlands will adapt your product as well. So that makes it more of an ideal test market in that terminology. And English is widely spoken as a business language, as I mentioned. So that also makes it really or fairly easy to come to the Netherlands. And we have well-educated, highly trained, and as I mentioned, an internationally oriented population. So we do not only think about the Netherlands. People also, or already in the beginning of their incorporation, think about exporting, and because the market is relatively small. And actually, we have a top sector policy, which is a new policy by the Dutch government. Because they know that the Netherlands generates much income through foreign trade and industry. And in 2015, actually, the Netherlands was ranked 5th on the World Economic Forum list of most competitive economies. So to stay in this top 5, the Dutch government has defined 9 top sectors. So, for example, the agriculture, but also high tech, energy, logistics, and some other sectors. So that's a new policy. So what about the economy of the Netherlands? Some more. As you can see, there are a couple of interesting pictures in this slide. These are actually a couple of highlights that show what the Netherlands is famous for, besides the cliches that I actually showed you in the last slide on the picture, the windmills and tulips, etc. So, for example, in the left upper corner, you see the biggest ship of the world. This ship is called the Pioneering Spirit. It's 382 meters in length and 124 meters wide. And the final construction phase has taken place in Rotterdam, in the port of Rotterdam. So that's really interesting. And you might wonder, why does it have this odd shape? Well, that's because the ship is designed to install and remove big oil and gas rigs at sea. And for example, in the right upper corner, there's the offshore wind, where the Netherlands is definitely famous for. The Dutch government has expressed the aspiration to build 6,000 megawatts of offshore wind power by 2020. This will absolutely have a massive impact on the Dutch electricity grid. And the ambition is that in 2023, both on and offshore wind can be the sustainable energy source to up to 8 million households. So 8 million households, that's almost the entire population. So that's quite substantial. And in the left lower corner, actually, that's the agricultural sector. The Netherlands is also famous for this sector because within the Netherlands, it actually accounts for almost 10% of the GDP and also of the workforce. So it's a massive sector, and the Netherlands is worldwide famous as the #1 supplier of successful and innovative agricultural companies, as well as knowledge and research institutions. And in the right lower corner, we have the Port of Rotterdam. Of course, I already talked about it, and it's the largest port in Europe. And most important for the Port of Rotterdam is the petrochemical industry and all the goods that enter continental Europe via the Port of Rotterdam. All the different organizations and companies that are located in the port, they play, or they have a major contribution to the national GDP, but also to the regional GDP of Rotterdam. And with over 160,000 employees, that's quite a lot for such a small region, or relatively small region. So the UK and the Netherlands, the relations, we have really good relations. On the right hand